Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is 5:06 PM and I call this public meeting to order. I want to thank everyone who is joining us this evening. If you want to make a public comment on the items listed under closed session agenda, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each item. Elizondo?
Public hearing for visitors who wish to address the board on closed session items. 15 minutes of this portion, excuse me, of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on closed session items. Speakers seeking to comment on other items are requested to make those comments during the public comment portion of the meeting at 6:30 PM. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item included in this section of the agenda, please step up to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they appear on your screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing none, hearing none, I close this public hearing. I adjourn to closed session to discuss items 1A through 1D. The board will reconvene at conclusion of the closed session. 59 PM. Call this regular meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's board meeting. I want to welcome the media and everyone joining us here in person and through Zoom. I would like to inform the public and those joining us that Superintendent Lai will not be joining us. So we have Deputy Superintendent Sandra Schwartz taking his place in this meeting. If you want to make a public comment, please listen carefully to the directions provided by the clerk at the opening of each public comment period during the meeting. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
So President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, staff, and members of the public, I would like to remind you of our vision and mission. Madera Unified will set the standard for hard work, creativity, and resiliency with a fearless drive to continuously improve. And we are committed to creating and sustaining a culture enabling Madera Unified students to experience an unparalleled educational journey that is intellectually, socially, and personally transformative. That is the nature of our work this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. Mrs. Elizondo, please call the roll.
Trustee Ahmad.
Here.
Trustee Cortez.
Here.
Trustee Dybert.
Here.
Trustee Fleek.
Here.
Trustee Seibert.
Here.
Clerk Mendoza.
Here.
And President Salazar.
Here. Thank you, Mrs. Elizondo. Trustee Cortez, would you please lead us in a flag salute?
Yes, everybody please stand. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic, one nation. Justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Cortez. Tonight's scheduled invocation will be provided by Pastor Fred Thurman of the New Life Assembly Church of Madera. I invite Pastor Thurman to the podium.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's bow our heads in reverence to God, and maybe you're going to ask a little prayer here. Father, we come to you tonight, great Almighty, and we thank you. We come with praise and thank you for all the great things that you have accomplished through our school district in this last year, and look forward to the great things that you will accomplish next year. We ask tonight, God, for your infinite wisdom and your great understanding and all the things that face the board and our school district, our children. We thank you, Father God, for leading our way. And God, we ask and invoke your presence here tonight. We give you praise and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Thurman. Closed session reportable actions, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, I have nothing to report from closed session this evening.
Thank you, Superintendent Schwartz. Adoption of the agenda, Mrs. Elizondo.
Action to add or delete items from any portion of the agenda or to discuss any consent agenda items must be taken prior to adoption of the agenda.
Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, do the staff have items to add or remove from the agenda?
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, staff has no changes to the agenda this evening.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. Trustees, do you have items to add or delete from the agenda? Trustee Ahmad,
No.
trustee Cortez,
No.
trustee Dybert,
No.
trustee Fleek,
None.
trustee Seibert,
No.
Clerk Mendoza,
No.
and myself, no. Trustees, do I have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented? Please state your name when you make the motion and second the motion.
Trustee Dybert, I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do I second?
Trustee Fleek, I'll second.
Thank you, trustee
Sorry.
Fleek. It has been moved by trustee Dybert and second by trustee Fleek to adopt the agenda as presented. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board for the record.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
trustee Cortez,
Yes.
trustee Dybert,
Yes.
trustee Fleek,
Yes,
trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes,
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent.
thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Student and staff recognition. Recognition of 22-23 student board members and student representative. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, we would like to recognize our student board representatives who have always fulfilled their duties and who have diligently kept us informed of activities at the school sites at these board meetings, whether through Zoom at the beginning of the school year or in person towards the end. We have a plaque for each of them, and I invite you, President Salazar and Clerk Mendoza, to come down to the floor to present these plaques. You guys want to go down there? I'll call them up. And I believe this evening, we just have one of our student reps with us this evening. So first I'm going to just kind of introduce or call the names of those students that are not with us this evening, just to thank them publicly. Yes, please. So not with us this evening, but we would like to thank them is Suad Taha of Madera High School and Tajiana Gonzalez of Madera South High School, as well as Maritza Martinez Hernandez of Alternative Education. But with us this evening, we do have Melanie Miranda of Torres High School. If you would please join our trustees down here and to receive your plaque.
Yeah. One more. 1, 2, and 3.
You guys.
I would like to thank our student representatives for their hard work, dedication, and time they put into position they held this school year and to their presentations. On behalf of our board staff and public, we would like to thank each and every one of them.
So at this time, we'd like to recognize our 2022-2023 student board members. So President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, this year we saw a tremendous amount of fruitful service by our district's student board members. They led student voice meetings, represented the student body from every high school, and truly made a difference in our lives and in the lives of future students during their historic term from August up until graduation just last week. For that, they shall be commended and recognized. Their names will be displayed on a perpetual plaque in this district office for generations to come, so anyone can see who served as student trustees. On behalf of the board, the staff, and the students they served, we have a token of our appreciation for each of them. And I invite President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and the rest of the board down to the floor to present each of them with an award. And so this time we'll call them up by school site. So first, with trustees Sebastian Savalsa and Jocelyn Garcia of Madera High School, please approach the podium. And I think, Sebastian, you get to talk one more time, and Jocelyn as well.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, and general public. I would just like to say one last time, a big thank you to all of you who are here today for not only showing us a big amount of support, but also giving us the experience that you have this year. It has not only been a great pleasure, it has been a great honor serving as the student trustee of Madera High. All the experiences that you have given me this year, I will take on with into my future with great pride, because you have given me the skills and have taught me how to leave a positive impact on not only students of a school, but overall the community of Madera Unified School District. So I would like to say thank you one last time.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. I would like to greatly thank you all for this position. It's been nothing but an honor to represent Madera Unified as I make my journey on to the real world. I am proud to say that I come from Madera Unified, and I'm proud to say that I come from Madera. This opportunity has been nothing but the best, and on to the next stage of my life, I will exhibit the behavior of a Madera Unified student. And I would love to thank Madera Unified as a whole for the staff, even down to the secretary. Everybody here, everybody here has been nothing but supportive. I would love to thank Principal Robin Cosgrove. She has worked with the trustees to basically make the school a better place. And I cannot thank this school district enough for making me part of their board. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and okay, now we'll move on to Madera South High School. So I would like to invite student trustees Genesis Guillen and Bianca Reyes Ruiz of Madera South High School to come on down to the podium.
One last time too. Okay. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, members of the board, and distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you for allowing me to represent Madera South High School and serving on the board together. Throughout the year, I attended different board meetings, conferences, events, and the Student Champion Day 2 course, which allowed me to familiarize and obtain an understanding of the challenges we face within our community with children, which motivates me to pursue a career in education. These challenges allowed me to grow as a student, person, and as a future teacher. The skills I evolved throughout my term as a student trustee were communication, time management, and reliability. Throughout my term, I believe I demonstrated myself as a highly competent trustee, as I always try to remind my fellow trustee friends whenever we had an upcoming important date, meetings, or to revise our project for the Stop It app. Serving on the board for Madera Unified my final year of high school was truly an honor that I would cherish forever. Thank you to Ms. Elizondo and Ms. Soto for always communicating and sharing important information with me. Special thank you to Mr. Simons and Ms. Hillman for supporting me and going out of the way to collaborate with me in making Madera South a connected, lively, and culturally aware campus. Thank you for this opportunity, Madera Unified, and I plan to see you back in 6 years after Fresno State to take the oath of becoming a student champion. Thank you.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clark Mendoza, and all members of the board. I am here surrounded by your beloved support, but to also thank you for this amazing opportunity that you have given me. I was able to learn so much about my Madera South High School campus that I will be always grateful for. Being a student trustee alternative was one of the most humbling and most rewarding experience of my 2020-2023 school year. I will forever take Madera South High School and Madera Unified as a beloved space in my heart. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for all your love and support. I can't wait to come back and teach you guys, become a teacher. I'm so thankful that I was able to be inspired by those beloved teachers, and I'm able to inspire future generations. Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent Aiello, do you have those contracts ready for these young ladies? Okay. All right, next, I'd like to invite trustee Ingrid Sosa Ramirez of Torres High School.
Very good evening to all. President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, and trustees present. For the last time, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Trustee Sosa Ramirez. Yes, I will also be doing this in Spanish as promised last year. Superintendent Lai is not here, but I did say that I was going to do it this year. So allow me to begin this gratitude speech with a remark I made last year. Representation and understanding of perspectives is so crucial because without them, the puzzle lacks various pieces and therefore cannot be unified. A sentence that, to me, throughout these terms served as the raw interpretation of my purpose. Having held this position, I had the opportunity to learn so much more about students than what the eye sees.
I was able to engage in deep and thoughtful conversations. I learned about their motivations, some of their hopes and dreams. I learned that it is often not verbalized, but school to the students is way more than just a facilitator of an education. It is also the facilitator of an environment that provides them with valuable lessons in people, which significance you can only understand if you remember how growing up, we often question ourselves, our abilities, our potential, who we are and where we belong. A lot of us may be lucky enough to have a support system just as myself, a mother, a father, and siblings who will unwaveringly be there for you no matter what, to support and care for you. And for that, I thank them. However, we are not at all as lucky and find ourselves attempting to fit wherever there is a cap. I will not say that our district is perfect because perfection does not exist. There are still needs to be met and work to be put in. What I will say, however, is that based on the conversations I have held with other student board members across California, is that our district is indeed one that works and will continue to work, or so I hope, relentlessly to meet the needs for their students, as an individual and as a future professional. I am so thankful for having been given the opportunity to witness many of these changes that have occurred up to today, and the attentiveness of our board to collaborate and create opportunities for its students, its parents, and its guardians, and others people within our community. I am thankful to the people who installed a sense of community and pride of having belonged to Torres High and Madera Unified, to the board, Mr. Speed, and the countless individuals who have been and allowed me to have been a part of this journey. I would like to thank once again my parents, my siblings for their support, and every student at Torres for the opportunity to gain an insight into what an education at Madera Unified has signified to them, or what could improve or be added to enhance it, and allowed my actions and decisions to bring to them to the board. Now allow me to do it in Spanish as well. Muy buenas tardes a todos, Presidente Salazar, Escribano Mendoza, Superintendente Adjunto Schwartz y fideicomisarios presentes. Por última vez, permítanme presentarme como fideicomisaria Sosa Ramírez. Porque lo prometido es deuda, como ya mencioné, aunque Superintendente Lago no está aquí. Estoy aquí ante ustedes después de haber servido 2 términos en la mesa directiva y haber adquirido una nueva perspectiva. Ahora permítanme abrir este discurso de gratitud con un comentario que hice el año pasado. La representación y la comprensión de las perspectivas, aún más en el contexto estudiantil, es extremadamente crucial porque sin ellas faltan piezas al rompecabezas y ese no puede ser unificado. Frase que para mí a lo largo de estos términos me sirvió como la interpretación cruda de mi propósito. Habiendo ocupado este cargo, tuve la oportunidad de aprender mucho más sobre los estudiantes de lo que se ve a simple vista. Pude entablar conversaciones profundas y reflexivas, aprendí sobre sus motivaciones, algunas de sus esperanzas y sus sueños. Aprendí que a menudo no se verbaliza, pero la escuela para nosotros como estudiantes es mucho más que solo el facilitador de una educación. También es el facilitador de un entorno que nos ha brindado lecciones y personas valiosas. Importancia cuya solo será apreciada al recordar cómo al crecer a menudo nos cuestionamos a nosotros mismos, nuestras habilidades, nuestro potencial, quiénes somos y a dónde pertenecemos. Muchos de nosotros podemos tener la suerte de tener un sistema de apoyo como yo, una madre, un padre y hermanos que están y estarán inquebrantablemente para ti, pase lo que pase, para apoyarte y cuidarte. Y por eso les agradezco, mami, papi, chaparritos. Gracias, sin embargo, no todos son tan afortunados y nos hemos encontrado tratando de encojar donde cualquier brecha sea visible. No diré que nuestro distrito escolar es perfecto, porque la perfección no existe. Todavía hay necesidades por ser cubiertas y trabajo por ser hecho. Lo que sí diré, basado en las necesidades, basado en las conversaciones que he tenido con otros estudiantes, miembros de la mesa directiva del distrito de To California, es que nuestro distrito es de hecho uno de los que ha trabajado y espero siga trabajando incansablemente para satisfacer las necesidades de sus estudiantes, como individuos y como futuros profesionales. Estoy muy agradecida por haber tenido la oportunidad de presenciar muchos de los cambios que se han producido hasta el día de hoy, al igual que la atención de nuestra mesa directiva para colaborar y crear oportunidades para sus estudiantes, sus padres y tutores, y otros individuos en nuestra comunidad. Estoy agradecida con las personas que instalaron un sentido de comunidad y el orgullo de haber pertenecido a Torres High, al igual que a Madera Unified, a la mesa directiva, al señor Speed y a las innumerables personas que han estado y me han permitido ser parte de este viaje. Me gustaría agradecer una vez más a mis padres, a mis hermanos por su apoyo y a todos los estudiantes de Torres por la oportunidad de obtener una idea de lo que ha significado tener una educación en el Distrito Unificado de Madera. Al igual que cómo esa experiencia podría mejorarse o lo que podría ser implementado para mejorar, al igual que permitir que mis acciones y decisiones los trajeran al tablero. Muchas gracias.
One more.
And finally, tonight, last but definitely not least, I'd like to invite student trustee Frank Derek Santos from our Alternative Education High Schools to please come on up.
Good evening, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. It feels bittersweet standing here in front of you as I sign off as a student board member representing alternative education. I am deeply honored and overwhelmed with great joy that I was able to accomplish the job that I swore to finish. I believe for any successful person or institution, there will always be people behind its success. Thus, with this, I would like to thank the following for your valued support during my reign as follows. Superintendent Lyle, who he's not here, who manages to inject humor in the dice during every regular board meeting, which kept me guessing if I'll be his next target. Trustee Dybert, who from the start became my mentor, who guided me and instilled the virtue of patience, perseverance, and pride to everything that I do. Trustee Fleek, for her warm, welcoming personality that every time I attend a regular board meeting, she would always be the first to greet me. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz and Ms. Soto, for hearing me out and ensuring completion of the technical details and assignment of Furman Covered Court as a priority project for MUSD, which is awaiting budget approval. Though I will not be able to see the fruition of this project, I strongly believe the students of Furman will be able to realize this project soon under the able stewardship of Mr. Schwartz and Ms. Soto. Director Karen Diorian, who helped me realize and successfully launched our Stop It app in partnership with my co-student board members, which will benefit MUSD schools from elementary to high schools. A project that addresses bullying, domestic violence, and suicide and more. Student board members. Student board members, Student Trustee Genesis Guillen of Madera South, Student Trustee Ingrid Sosa Ramirez of Matilda Torres, Student Trustee Sebastian Zavalsa of Madera High for their friendship and brotherhood, who agreed to be part of my Stop It app reboot project for the benefit of MUSD students. Former President McIntyre, who possessed an amiable smile and was the one who interviewed me for this position. Whenever we shake hands, I felt his fatherly reassurance that I am worthy of this position. Ms. Elizondo and Ms. Soto, who I always bug with my series of questions and follow-ups, but remain patient with me. Thank you, ma'am. Principals, Ms. Castrion, Mr. Juarez, and Mr. Collegian, thank you for your overwhelming support, partnership, and guidance to make our projects and activities a success. And of course, my mom, Rose. My mom, Rose, who has always been the wind beneath my wings, my hero. Thank you, Mom. Again, thank you, everyone.
One, two,
And if we could have all of our student board trustees come on up and we'll take a picture with all of you.
two. One, two, and three.
Thank you, trustees, for your hard work, dedication, and the time you spent listening to the students at your school sites and for representing them in the position you held this school year. On behalf of your fellow board members, a big thank you. Deputy Schwartz, now we go to Madera minutes.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board. Director Garnica and his staff have put together another set of highlights from all of the fantastic work and accomplishments of our students and staff. We're working hard on creating and sustaining a culture that provides an unparalleled educational journey.
It has been a memorable school year, and what better way to start this Madera Minutes than with highlighting the newest CIF Division II softball champions, the Madera High School varsity softball team. The Lady Coyotes walked away with the title after defeating Frontier High School 4-2. And Madera Unified World Champs continue to celebrate their victory. The Matam Robotics team was invited to the state capitol by Assemblywoman Esmeralda Soria. State lawmakers recognized the world's first robotics competition title holders with applauses and a resolution. In other things, all schools across the district met up for their strategic planning day with their leadership teams, school principals, and vice principals to review their academic climate and culture data and find ways to make improvements.
We really value the days we have together. We think this is critical in the transformation of the school district. The time that we have without having to serve our students for the full day really frees up our time, frees up our brain to really learn professionally from the information we have. We don't have that time embedded in the day, and this free time is really critical for us to help improve our practices as a system.
Outside resources were also provided to educators to help develop and adjust any lesson planning. Elementary students from around the district had the opportunity to compete against each other during the Netherton Relays event. The event, hosted by MUSD and the Rotary Club of Madera, allowed students to participate in several fun activities. Over 600 students participated in separate girls and boys relay competitions, where all students were awarded participation medals. As a way to honor their late teacher, Mr. Garcia, and keep his memory alive, Represent students, faculty, and staff planted a tree and surrounded it with personalized bricks. The tree symbolizes the positive impact he had on the lives of many students.
I don't know if there is ever closure. Closure is an interesting thing, but I don't know if it means closure, but it means an ongoing remembrance. And so when you have a teacher who's worked so hard for so long and impacted so many students' lives, I think it's important that the school recognizes that in some ongoing and lasting way.
And Madera Method students from Madera South High School paid tribute to Sonny Nishimoto and his family with the culmination of their historical literacy project. The event at Madera County Courthouse Museum brought together the community and members of the Nishimoto family who had the opportunity to listen to stories told by Madera South students. In other things, ABC 30 will feature some Madera Unified top senior graduates during their Honor Scholar segments. Students from Madera, Madera South, and Taurus were invited to participate in this video. The segment will air throughout the month on ABC 30. On the other hand, MUSD students had a lot to celebrate. 8th grade students ended their secondary education with ceremonial promotions, and seniors from Madera, Madera South, and Taurus High Schools are now embarking on a new journey after graduating last week, surrounded by thousands of loved ones who came to Memorial Stadium to watch them walk the stage to receive their diplomas.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. Public hearing for visitors who wish to speak on subject not on the board agenda. Mrs. Elizondo?
15 minutes of this portion of the meeting are reserved for members of the public to address the board on items not listed on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of the school board. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. If the subject is an item on the agenda, the board president has the option of asking the speaker to hold a comment until that item is called. Comments on items listed as public hearing on the agenda should be held until the hearing is opened. The school board is prohibited by law from taking action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda, and no adverse conclusion should be drawn if the school board does not respond to public comment at this time. If you wish to address the board on an item not on the board agenda, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they approach the podium or they appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments.
Good evening, Madera Unified School Board. I'm Seth McKeever. I'm here on behalf of Madera Babe Ruth. I'm a board member as well as a coach in the community. And I have with me a few other coaches, Levon Rodriguez and Rick Garcia with me as well. And first off, I just want to say thank you. There's a grant given to us that you guys approved that it's just helped us out so much. This year, we actually saw 150 athletes sign up, which is record numbers for us. So much so that we had to create 4 new teams and increase our roster sizes. It's a great thing. So fees were waived, helmets, bats, equipment, all provided, jerseys, hats, belts, pants, and socks. It went a long way. And I have a couple of the players that'd like to come up. I have Mason Turner, Thomas Rodriguez, Josh McKeever, and Trey Garcia.
Hello, Madera Unified School Board. We are here tonight representing all the players from Madera Babe Ruth. We would like to say thank you for the generous grant given to Babe Ruth League this season. Because of your support, more than 150 players had the opportunity to play the game of baseball.
We look forward to continuing the partnership between Madera Unified and Madera Babe Ruth. It truly is a gift that will not go unnoticed. So once again, we all say thank you for your time and everything given to us this season.
Once again, from the entire Madera Babe Ruth community, we thank you so much for your support, and we hope to look forward to partnering with you again. Thank you.
Nobody raised their hand. President Salzer, we do not have any more participants who wish to address the board at this time, and we have no comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Elizondo. Seeing or hearing no one, I close the public hearing. Item 6C, public hearing for 2023 Local Control Accountability Plan. The plan outlines the goals, actions, resources for the next 3 years to improve student outcomes. Ms. Elizondo?
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they approach the podium or appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salzer, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board on this item, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no others, hearing no others, I close the public hearing at 7:38 p.m. Public hearing for the 2023 proposed budget and reserve levels. The board has an approved 10% minimum fund balance. This level of reserve allows the district to manage cash flow, mitigate funding, address unexpected costs, save for large purchases, and reduce borrowing costs. Ms. Elizondo.
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they approach the podium or appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board on this item, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no others, hearing no others, I close this public hearing at 7:39 PM. Information and reports, union time. At this time, I invite the presidents of the unions to address the board. Mr. Holder, as MUDA president, would you like to address the board? I don't see Mr. Holder in the audience.
And President Giddens is online, but she does not have anything to report.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Holder. Unfortunately, he's not here, and Ms. Gideon, so superintendent time, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
Thank you. And yes, staff, I actually do have some things to report that Superintendent Lau left for me, so. First of all, Madera South High School held their 2023 FFA Awards Banquet on May 24th. Madera Unified held their annual Service with Pride event on May 25th. Strategic Academic Planning Day 4 was held on Friday, May 26th at Desmond School. School was not in session that day. As you saw in the Madera minutes, our Madera High School Coyote softball team won another Valley Championship. They had that game at Fresno State on May 26th, and congratulations to our Coyote softball program once again. Mules, or our Madera Unified League of Elementary Sports, held the annual Netherton Relays on Friday, June 2nd at Madera South High School. And finally, a huge congratulations to all of our graduates who received their diplomas last week. The 4 graduation ceremonies held were all very professional, dignified, and made Madera Unified School District very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. Consent agenda, Mrs. Elizondo.
Items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and are acted on by the Board of Trustees in one motion. There is no discussion of these items prior to the board vote unless a member of the board or staff requests specific items be considered and discussed separately and are removed from the consent agenda prior to the adoption of the agenda. It is understood that the administration recommends approval on all consent items. Each item on the consent agenda approved by the Board of Trustees shall be deemed to have been considered in full and adopted as recommended.
I now open the consent agenda for public comment. Mrs. Elizondo.
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they approach the podium or appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have any participants who wish to address the board on any of these items, and we do not have any comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Seeing no one come forward, I close public comment. I now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. State your name when making the motion and when you second the motion. Trustees, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Clerk Mendoza, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Trustee Cybert, I'll second it.
Thank you, Trustee Cybert. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Cybert to approve, to approve the consent agenda. There was no resolution in the consent agenda. Ms. Elizondo, pull the board for the record.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez,
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Cybert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar.
Yes.
President Salazar, I counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, do you have any administrative announcements?
We do this evening, so thank you. The first announcement that we have is a new vice principal at Madison Elementary School. This gentleman is one of Madera Unified's up and rising stars. I know we're super excited to to have him in this role at Madison. He's been a PE teacher with us. He's been at MLK, and he was one of our first DLI PE teachers at Madison, as well as one of our district basketball coaches. So I really like that, of course, being a former basketball coach myself. So at this moment, I'd like to call up to the podium and announce Armando Lua as the new vice principal of Madison Elementary.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, and general public. I want to share that I am excited to be joining James Madison community in this new role as an administrator. 7 years ago, when I started my teaching career as a PE teacher, I had the privilege to serve and develop meaningful relationships with children and families of the Madison community. As a teacher, I had the opportunity to learn about dual language immersion and taught curriculum in both Spanish and English. As a former English language learner and first-generation student, I was proud to be able to teach students in our native language and took pride in being part of a district that values multicultural backgrounds. It is with great pleasure that I look forward to return to James Madison School as an educational leader and provide the adequate support needed to create those high expectations for our staff and students. Lastly, I would like to take a few minutes to share how grateful I am for my career and everyone who has contributed to my success. I would like to start by thanking my parents, siblings, and my beautiful wife for the immense support. I would also like to thank my current and previous colleagues for guiding me, shaping me into the person I am today. Not a day goes by when I don't reflect on how critical their roles have been in my professional development. And it is because of them that I strive to be better every day. Lastly, I want to thank this district for the immense support throughout my last 7 years. And I'm very proud to be a Madera Unified teacher. Really quick, I will also like to address general staff and the board in Spanish. So, buenas noches, Presidente Salazar, Secretario Mendoza, miembros de la Junta y Superintendente Schwartz. Quiero compartir que estoy emocionado de unirme a la comunidad de James Madison en esta nueva posición como administrador. Hace 7 años, cuando comencé mi carrera como maestro de educación física, tuve el privilegio de servir y desarrollar relaciones significantes con los niños y las familias de la escuela primaria Madison. Como maestro, tuve la oportunidad de aprender sobre el programa de inmersión bilingüe y tuve la oportunidad de enseñar clases en educación física en inglés y en español. Creciendo bilingüe y como estudiante de primera generación, me orgullece poder enseñar a los estudiantes nuestro idioma nativo y me orgullece ser parte de un distrito que valora los orígenes multiculturales. Es un gran placer regresar a la escuela James Madison como líder educativo y brindar el apoyo adecuado necesario para crear esas altas expectativas para nuestro personal y estudiantes. Por último, me gustaría tomar unos minutos para compartir lo agradecido que estoy por mi carrera y por todos los que han contribuido a mi éxito. Me gustaría comenzar dándole gracias a mis padres, a mis hermanos y a mi esposa por todo el inmenso apoyo. También me gustaría agradecer a todos mis colegas actuales y anteriores por guiarme y ayudarme a tomar buenas decisiones. También me gustaría agradecer mucho al Distrito de Madera por siempre brindarme su apoyo y continuar apoyándome en mi carrera profesional. Es por ellos que por mis colegas y por todos ustedes que todos los días reflexiono y sé lo crítico que es el apoyo que me han brindado. En cuanto a este próximo capítulo de mi carrera profesional, prometo trabajar duro y crear oportunidades profesionales que podrán producir niveles más altos de aprendizaje para nuestra comunidad. Thank you so much.
Armando, but before we walk away, would you please introduce who's here supporting you this evening?
Yes, of course. So I have my mother, my father, two of my siblings. I'm sure you guys heard a couple of my nieces and nephews, and my beautiful wife, and everybody here. I have my current boss and principal, Mr. Espinoza, my former principal, Ms. Ochoa, Mr. Marshall. I've been very blessed in my short career to have created an immense amount of professional relationships that have helped me, be where I am today. So, yeah, and the public, I mean, yeah, so basically everybody, so.
Thank you. And welcome. Our next announcement is we do have a new principal at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. This gentleman comes to us with high recommendations and praise from everyone that we've talked to. We've even got former coworkers that just rave about him. He is coming to us from Fireball, where he has been the principal of Fireball High School for quite a few years now. So, and that gentleman is Anthony Catalan.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees of the board, and Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. My name is Anthony Catalan, and I would like to thank each of you for the opportunity to serve the community and students of Madera. This is my 22nd year in education. I spent 12 years as an agriculture education teacher and held various roles such as the FFA advisor, activities director, after-school program coordinator, and whatever else they would ask me to do. That was followed by 10 years in administration, 7 of which have been at the high school as the high school principal in Fireball. I was involved in the FFA organization growing up in what was at the time a fairly small ag-based community in Woodland, California. I would like to thank my wife, Rosario, and 2 boys that are here, Antonio and Peter, for supporting me throughout my entire career. Antonio and Peter are 2 Fresno State graduates, and we are very proud of them. In closing, I am extremely excited, humbled, and honored to be here, and I can't wait to serve the community of Madera. And I would like to thank you for the opportunity that you have given me. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome, Anthony. And finally, this evening, the last announcement I have is we will be naming this evening a new area assistant superintendent for the Red Pyramid. We'll be backfilling Horacio Rodriguez. This person is truly an inspiration, I think, to all of us in the district. She has been serving as the principal of Desmond Middle School. Prior to that, she was the vice principal or one of the vice principals of Madera South High School. I know I got to work with her for a few years when she was a special education teacher at Madera South High School. I'm super excited, and I know all of us are super excited to see her take this next step on her professional journey. So with further ado, our new area assistant superintendent for the Red Pyramid, Miss Carrie Gassett.
Hi, everyone. It feels really good to be standing here. Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, and Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. I'll try not to be emotional, but this is a really big night for me, so I'll just try to hold it together for you. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am to be standing here before you guys tonight, accepting this new role of Area Assistant Superintendent. I literally feel like my life is a dream right now. From the moment I began my career here in Madera Unified, I knew I was right where I belonged. For the past 14 years, there has not been a day where I haven't valued and appreciated my opportunity to work with the students and families in this community. My heart is definitely here, and I am so appreciative and grateful to have this new opportunity. There is no doubt that the opportunities I have before me is because I have so much love and support surrounding me. I would really like just to take an opportunity to say thank you to my family is here tonight. I have a couple rows myself. My mom and dad are here, along with my husband, David, my daughter, McKenna, my son, Chase, and his girlfriend, Emily, and my nephew, Wyatt. Not only have they stood by me during every step of my career advancement, they have also lifted me up and encouraged me over these last 7 months as I battled cancer. Today is a day for all of us to celebrate because tonight is an opportunity. This opportunity represents the blessings of a new chapter in my life. And that is something that we've all prayed for. I'd also like to thank the members of the executive cabinet here tonight for believing in me and supporting me along this journey. I mean, I don't know that many of you guys know, but for the past 7 months, they've texted me, encouraged me, prayed for me, and always believed in me, even when I was having some of my hardest moments. And I'd also really like to thank the 2 vice principals that I've worked with at Desmond, Amanda Musso and Matt Tobin. They have never once made me feel like my absence was anything that I needed to worry about and that they had my back. That's what they told me all the time. And started this, you got this, fight like Carrie. And I just appreciate their support. And when they realized I was going to apply for this job, they've been nothing but supportive. And I'm just really grateful for them. And I just want to thank all of you for believing in me as well. Your support means so much to me, and I'm extremely excited to begin this new chapter in my life. And I thank you guys for this opportunity.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Congratulations to you. Old business. Item 10A1, Fiscal Services, second reading and request approval of the 2023 Annual Contract Services Agreements. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
We have Chief Financial Officer Arelis Garcia, Fiscal Services, here to present this item this evening.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, and Deputy Superintendent. And as I was here in the previous board meeting and I presented to you the 23-24 vendor contracts. At that time, we received some suggestions from the trustees. So the new report that you receive, it has the rubrics in there, and we're gonna keep it that way from now on. And we did have some questions from the trustees, and we addressed them in the board newsletter. I hope that all your questions were answered. I would like to thank Trustee Diver. She pointed out one of the contracts that we have 5,000 and should have been 50,000. So we fixed that in here, and it's for the AT&T for the Chrome, the hotspots. So we fixed that amount in there. I do have 3 contracts amounts that need to be changed because we receive updated amounts. And so on page 11, I have the AT&T hotspots that I mentioned. So we changed that to 50,000 from the 5,000 on page 11. You see that. And also on page 17, I have under fiscal services, CRMA. That is for our property and liability insurance. At the time when we prepared the first report, we have an estimated amount of 2.2 million. And so we received an updated amount from CRMA, and now it's 2.4 million. So 2,432,504. If with your approval, we'll change that amount on the final and documented copy. If you approve that amount, or if you wish, we can bring it back as in the consent agenda and then in the next board meeting, if you would like us to do that. But with your approval, we can just change the amount on the final version. One more I have, and it's on page 21, the City of Madera to provide the learning and enrichment opportunities and services to our school sites through the after-school program. This is using ELOP funds. We had a previous estimated amount of 290,000, and they provided a new amount, 325,000, and that it was due to the increase on minimum wage. When they did the estimate, they had a lower amount, so they revised that amount so that this is the new amount 325,000. So with your approval tonight, I'll change those amount on the final version of the report and document it that way. Page 21, the city. Oh, you have a question on page 20? Okay, go ahead. Yes. Yes, I see that. The pixel is incorrect. The turf tank is correct. We need to revise that description in there. Thank you for pointing that out.
Trustees, any other questions on the contracts? Trustee Dybert?
So just piggyback to the question from trustee Cyber. So what is Pixelot bid swap for? What's, just in a nutshell, can you tell me what that kind of services?
It's Director Marty Bitter in the Zoom, so he can help us with that contract.
I am here.
Okay. And the Pixelo bid swap, what is the purpose of that contract?
They're two different contracts. Pixelot VidSwap is all of the cameras that we have now installed in all 3 high schools that will allow us to stream our high school games on the NFHS network. And then the VidSwap is a service. We used to use what's called Huddle, and now we only use Huddle for our football programs. VidSwap is basically the video production that we use to film all of our games, break down our game film, send it out to our student athletes so that they can view it. And we use the Pixelot cameras along with VidSwap in order to, they kind of work hand in hand with each other in order to provide that service for our coaches and our student athletes.
Okay, and is that the total for both of them is 15,000?
The 15,300 amount that we have, we will cover both vendors.
Yes, both vendors, all 3 high schools, and almost all of our athletic programs with the exception of football.
Okay, thank you.
No. Yes, I guess I should. So I think I did not, I guess I wasn't clear last time. Regarding the rubric, there's no reference to, the implementation or how well it was implemented on, for every of these items. So, I guess if there's not gonna be any reference, we can just remove it there, right? I mean.
Yes, and that's the part that I explained last time. These vendors are gonna be used in the next fiscal year. So then when we did in the 2 board meetings ago, you saw the evaluation of this year's contracts, and is where we use the rubric when we evaluate them. And so right now, the board is approving the contracts that we're gonna be using. So we cannot evaluate them because we have not used them.
Use them, right. So now this will be useful for us, I mean, for next year, right?
When we present the evaluations to you, only at that time is when the rubric
They'll
is
have the
used.
rubric in there.
Yes, it will have the rubric in there.
Got it.
Trustee Fleek?
No questions.
Trustee Seibert, any more other questions? Clerk Mendoza, do you have any other questions?
No questions, thank you.
I just had one. I had asked it before and I really never got my answer. On the contract for Madera Golf and Country Club, it doesn't say how many students from each site. Is there a maximum of students for this amount of the contract, 40,000?
It's Director Bitter, can you help me answer that question?
I can, Aurelis, thank you. There is no number, there is no maximum number that we have with the country club for our golf programs. However, our golf programs will generally carry 10 to 12 kids per program. And that's 10 to 12 boys and girls at each of the 3 high schools. And the reason we don't carry more than that, we don't get more than that generally that come out, and only 6 participate in a golf match. So 10 to 12 kids is pretty much what you get at almost any high school. You won't find a whole lot more than that because it's really difficult to find places for your JV student athletes to play. The other positive that I wanted to mention regarding the Madera contract was Madera Golf and Country Club just hired a gentleman by the name of Ed Luthke and also another gentleman by the name of Mike Shy. Those 2 guys are probably, well, I shouldn't say probably, they're the 2 best teaching pros anywhere in our area. And Mike Shy actually has a huge teaching center. He's kind of responsible for Bryson DeChambeau, who's one of the best players on the PGA Tour. So those 2 guys train most of the best golfers around, and now they'll be working with our kids, which is a big benefit to us as well, that we didn't know prior to just recently.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me. Okay, thank you, CFO Garcia. I now open this item for public comment. Mrs. Elizondo?
If you wish to address the board on this item, please come to the podium and state your name and city of residence. If you are joining us remotely and would like to make a public comment, please click on the reactions icon located at the bottom of your screen. In the reactions window, click on the raise hand button and wait for your name to be called. We will allow speakers from the audience to address the board in the order they approach the podium or appear on our screen. Comments provided via email will be read after the live comments. President Salazar, we do not have participants who wish to address the board at this time, and no comments submitted in writing for this portion of the meeting.
I now entertain a motion and a second to approve item 10A. Please state your name when you make the motion and second the motion. Trustees, do I have a motion?
Clerk Mendoza, I make the motion to approve 10A1 with the modification of City of Madera to reflect $325,000. Also to revise the language for Pixie Lot Vid Swap based on Mr. Bitter's comments and statements, and also to revise the CMRA to reflect 2.4 million.
Do I
With
have,
that, I submit.
okay, thank you. And do I have a second?
Trustee Ahmad, second.
Thank you, Trustee Ahmad. It has been moved by Clerk Mendoza and second by Trustee Ahmad to approve item 10A. Ms. Elizondo, please pull the board.
Trustee Ahmad,
Yes.
Trustee Cortez.
Yes.
Trustee Dybert,
Yes.
Trustee Fleek,
Yes.
Trustee Seibert,
Yes.
Clerk Mendoza,
Yes.
and President Salazar. President
Yes.
Salazar, it counted 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 0 absent.
Thank you, Ms. Elizondo. Now on to item 11, new business. Item number 11A, educational services, first reading of the 23-24 local control and accountability plan. This Deputy Superintendent Schwartz.
President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, and members of the board, Associate Superintendent, that was a mouthful, Associate Superintendent Cheryl Sissel of Educational Services will present this item this evening.
Good evening, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, members of the board, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. So tonight is our first read of our 2023-2024 Local Control Accountability Plan. Man, this has been a long time coming. I feel like we've been working on this for months. So in preparation for this evening, you should have all gotten a draft copy. I think it probably would have been a couple weeks ago. So you should have received the full copy in draft form. I'll apologize in advance. There's a few formatting errors I noticed as I was reading it. The tops are cut off on a number of the pages. So we'll make sure that when we print the official copies, we'll get that taken care of. I hope that wasn't too much of a deterrent. So I felt like this is the first time I've gone through and shared this. So I would take any feedback that you have, but if you remember, at the last meeting, I spent a pretty significant amount of time talking about the process and processes that we went through to gather feedback to help with the revision of what is the bulk of the LCAP, and that is the actions that are aligned to the goals, which is where all of our budget is aligned to. So what I thought for tonight would make the most sense would be to take you through and highlight where there are changes in actions. And what we're allowed to do in the LCAP is you can add any new actions that you would like. You can also revise actions that are existing, and then how the budget is allocated can also be revised. So as an example, I'll go ahead and have you take me to the next slide, Frank. Looking at goal 1, as a reminder, goal 1 for us is primarily focused on early childhood education and providing early supports for children and their families before they begin school. So under this goal, this year there are no revisions, no changes, no additions. What I do want to call to your attention is that on action 7, which has been in here since the this LCAP cycle began, was to build a Madera lighthouse for children. That was an initiative that has just never kicked off. And so you'll notice that there are $0 allocated. But again, part of the process that the state expects, we can't delete an action. What we can do is just allocate $0 to it. So we don't have any dollars currently allocated to the idea of building, at the time, what was being referred to as a lighthouse for children. So I believe, Arelis, there was $0 allocated last year as well. Yeah, so it's not a change from our current LCAP, but I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of why there's an action in there with $0 assigned to it, because when this 3-year cycle began, there was some money allocated to it initially by the board to look into that as an option, but it is never taken off. So it's there, but it has $0 allocated to it. If you'll take me to goal 2, this is sort of the monster in our LCAP. There, in the current LCAP, there were 18 actions under goal 2. We now have 26. So if you'll take me to the next slide, Frank, I'll call your attention to starting on line 19. So again, one of the things that Madera Unified has done previously is we show all dollars through the lens of the LCAP. So what that means is if you look on lines 19, lines 20, and lines 21, those are all grants. So that is not LCFF dollars. Those were grants that our culture and climate and health and wellness departments have applied for, and since our last LCAP have earned. So you'll see that in the California Community School Partnership Program grant, we've been awarded $2.3 million. The School Climate Transformation Grant, there's $640,000, and the School-Based Mental Health Grant is $1.2 million. Those are all funds that are generated either through state and federal dollars. They are not LCFF dollars. Looking at line 22, and I'm going to ask CFO Garcia to help me with this. This is the first time we've ever allocated transportation services under goal 2. And I'll have you join me up here so you can better explain why we felt like this was important to do now when we hadn't done that in the past.
Yes, and before, the budget that was allocated for transportation, it will go to goal 6, where we put all the operationals. But we feel that since we have to adopted a plan for transportation, that the state is gonna give us more LCFF funds for transportation to provide services to our students. We felt that that action is gonna help our district to show that we are already providing the services, and it's free for all the students that qualify for with the criteria that we set as a district to get free transportation. Other districts, like we are not required as a district to provide transportation services, but we as a district make the commitment that we are doing it. And not only to our just regular students, but our special education students, students that need to be picked up at the door, we provide those services too. To take to other places for education, we do that too. We provide their services. And so we want to show that we have that action. We're allocating more than what the state is providing for transportation. We receive about 2.5 million. And so we're spending, or we have in the budget, 7.1 million. So we want to show the community that even though the district is not receiving the specific dollars, the specific amount of dollars that we need, but we're spending LCFF funds to provide the transportation for our students.
Do you prefer them to ask questions as we're going along?
Yeah, whatever's easier. It's the board's discretion.
Go ahead.
So, so do all our students meet the eligibility requirements if there's not listed here? What's the percentage of students that meet?
For transportation, is that what you're asking? So for elementary schools, it's any student that lives outside of 1 mile radius of a school site. For middle schools, it's 1.5 miles, and for high schools, it's 2 miles. Unless you are a student with an IEP, and that IEP then would spell out what special transportation needs you may have, whether it's door to door, or even if you live within those radius, we provide transportation.
So we currently provide that transportation, so there's no changes. You just moved it from the other goal to this. So the allocation is the same. You just changed it. Okay, just wanted to know that. Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Only question is with this transportation fund that it increases the amount that we get, right? This will help increase the amount we get. Because we get so much from the state, but this will increase the amount that we'll be able to get.
What we added in here is what we have budgeted for the transportation. The revenue that we receive from the state through the LCFF, it will increase every year now that they are adding the COLA to it. So if we start, since 2013, we've been receiving about 2.5 million, we'll say. So now it's gonna be increasing every year with COLA. And plus, the state is now giving us another amount of money, like about $1 million for transportation specifically. Yes, we have not received it. They promise and they pass it on in this year's budget, but we have not received anything, but we're expecting about an additional $1 million. But altogether, you know, the revenue that we receive for transportation will be about 4 million. We are allocating 7.1 million.
These funds, are we able to buy like new buses? Is it just limited to maintenance and wages and all that?
This is all the operation of the transportation. If we want to buy buses, we have to allocate additional dollars.
Besides these?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question, have we allocated those recess grants that were in the packet today? We adopted
What grant
those
is that?
recess grants, 11 million and 16 million. You haven't seen
No,
that.
I haven't seen that.
Okay. We just passed that, the job description. The
Yeah, but
grants
it-
were there, but we just passed the job description.
Trustee Seibert, it's different from what we're talking about.
Yeah, but it affects don't affect the LCAP.
Um,
No.
if it's job descriptions, if it's positions that we already approve in core staffing, if we have those positions already approved, they are in the LCAP.
Yeah.
If they are not approved, the positions, then they are not there.
We're
yet.
receiving we were okay with the grants. We got the grants.
Is that for the community?
It's through,
Okay.
so it is, okay.
Is-
Okay.
It's through, gosh, I don't have my. Line 19, it's part of the California Community School Partnership Program grant, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, line 23 is allocating additional resources to the newcomer program and services for students and families. And you'll see that there's going to be two actions in separate goals. And this was something that when our DLAC parent group came at the second April board meeting and read their formal recommendations, it was sort of two parts. Goal 2 is the smaller of the two initiatives. This is around providing services for families. And this isn't about like teaching and learning. This is about helping our parents navigate systems that they need to help themselves and their children be more successful. So this came as a direct recommendation from our DLAC parent group. And if you can go back to the second meeting in April, their recommendation had two parts. This is part one of that, which is really around standardizing the way our district provides and supports families of our newcomer students, our newly arrived families.
How many newcomers do we have now?
Oh, gosh. I don't know that I know that number off the top of
And
my
do-
head.
And about how many do we get every year?
So in high school and middle school, I feel a little more confident saying the numbers. Part of our issue is in elementary school and I don't have Director Medina here and Director Ochoa is not here anymore either. In middle and high school, we have an academic program. So there's a magnet program for our newcomers. So like at Madera High School last year, they started the year with like 4 kids in the newcomer program. When I was in there in April, they had 36 kids. So they grew by 32. At Thomas Jefferson, Jordan Sabonia, who's the teacher there, same thing. They start with 1 to 2 kids and she had like 32 or 33 kids. But that doesn't account for all the newcomers. So we have a number of newcomer families that choose not to leave their school of residence. So as an example, if you live in the Torres High School area or you live in Madera South High School area and you don't want to relocate for 1 year to send your student to the newcomer family, they are allowed to take their classes and stay at their school of residence. If Berta were, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but we do keep track of all of to be considered a newcomer, you're in our school system or in the country less than 12 months. In elementary school, where this kind of idea came from is if you go to Parkwood and you go to Chavez and you go to Millview or you go to Washington, as a district, we don't have a standardized way in which we welcome newcomer families, provide them information about services, about medical care, about housing, about food programs. And so we really saw a need to collaborate with with Director Elia Medina and our English learner program to bring those services together. And so this is about standardizing those services. But again, I don't know the number off the top of my head of how many families we have that would be considered newly arrived, which is that 0 to 12 months. And it is a fluid number. It changes regularly. And many of us believe that once you exit that 12-month mark, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're fully able to navigate all of the systems that exist. So we've spent a lot of time talking about what the right timeline is, because the state defines it as 0 to 12 months. There's a lot of research that shows families that arrive here from other countries, 12 months isn't quite enough. So we've looked at 0 to 24 months as an option, but we don't have this yet. This is going to be something that we're working on to start developing and standardizing for families in our district. But I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number of newcomers we
Will it be
have.
just at certain schools?
No, because in elementary school, we can get newcomers at any elementary school, and they just are enrolled in their home school. We don't have a newcomer program in elementary similar to what we offer in middle and high school. What we have started doing is, depending on where they're coming from, if possible, we've tried to get them to enroll in our dual language programs. You know, if they're coming from a Spanish speaking country and they speak Spanish, we've tried to encourage those families to enroll in Madison, Pershing, and even Washington. That is something that we're going to build into our planning and in our program. But families in elementary, they just enroll in their home school. And like I said, in middle and high school, we have a newcomer program, but not all families choose to take part in it. They'd rather have their children stay at their home school.
Thank you.
Okay. I apologize. I can get the number on the number of newcomers.
I have a question to follow up to that. So you said this is action number 23 is relatively new. And
It
you
is brand new.
brand new. So you allocated 590,000.
Yes.
What do you base that? What does that look like? Does that include staffing?
Nope, that's going to be under goal 4. We're going to talk about that. So that's why I said, when this was brought forward, it's 2 parts. So this is about families and programs and services. The additional training for teachers and hiring of staff, that is under goal 4. So there's a different amount
It's mostly
allocated.
like
under-
resources and so forth.
Yes,
Families.
yes.
So that's what my question was, like 590,000. I would like to know, you can explain that later, what that
I thought
amount
you
comes
asked
up.
me If that was for staffing, staffing's not under goal
Staffing is,
2.
okay.
Staffing is under goal 4.
So this is just the resources that you are going to use to create that program or the newcomers, right?
Yep.
So my question is, are we allocating enough for this program that you're gonna open?
So where my information came from, I looked at the program. Oakland Unified has a very well-established newcomer program. And so as I started asking questions about a newcomer program, that's where I got the information that I shared specifically with, like, wanting to look at providing, it's more about advisement, and a lot of this money is going to get fed into our PRCs, because that's where our families will go to get the information in those services. But that was a number, and Aurelis, you can help me with how the 590,000 was. I'm sure she's over there clicking in her little tables to tell us exactly what
We can come
dollars
back a little
she
later.
has that calculated from.
So they based it on another school. These are resources, as goal 1 says, demonstrating equity before equality, providing resources. So this one, number 23, is providing resources for the families for newcomers. That's what that is. And so they're basing it on their homework for that budget. If it goes over, I'm sure
would
they'll
come back and
adjust
ask.
it, and they'll adjust it and let us know.
Absolutely.
This is a new, so they're working with it still.
Yeah, we don't have a program. I mean, Oakland is a much larger school district. We tried to look at the resources that they are offering for families as a baseline. But I'll be honest with you, I don't crunch too many dollars. That's why I have my handy dandy partner over there, CFO Garcia, who crunches dollars for all these ideas that we come up with.
Thank you.
Okay. Under
24.
line 24. So this is Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. So again, this is grant. This is what we talked about, the ELOP. We've allocated 15 million here. This is going to be, again, to continue to acquire a facility for the VAPA program and the athletics program, and the partnership with the city on recreational sports and recreational programs. So that's what is happening under that. And that's not LCFF dollars, that's grant dollars. And then under line 25, Director McKenna asked for an additional allocation of funds to support expanding and monitoring the metrics to improve the college and career readiness indicators. So under there is where we're working with the hatching results, also having a counselor on special assignment, but continuing to expand and monitor the metrics to improve our college and career readiness. There's a state indicator and making sure that we're working in the correct direction there. And then line 26 is expanding learning opportunities for migrant students. So many of you know that up until this year, our migrant program was funded through a LCFF dollars were not allocated to support the migrant program. And this year there was a substantial cut to those programs, but as a district, we felt like it was really important to still support our migrant students and families. So we are supplementing what was cut from that budget. What was the original budget from, is Aurelis? Okay. Yeah, so we're allocating about $560,000 to continue to be able to offer services for our migrant students and support those students and families. Okay. Next.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
On goal 2, number 8, when it says continue to reduce the average class size. And so what is the current size and what we're going to be reducing it to? Is going to be for all the school or it will be certain school?
Continue reducing the average class size and eliminate the need for combo classes. Deputy Schwartz can probably speak to this a little better than well, I'll give it an attempt, and then if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But the expectation from our board many years ago was that the state requires us to reduce class size in primary grades. And then the board asked us to try and reduce class size into 4th grade where it's possible. Unfortunately, at every school, it's not possible to take the 4th grade class size reduction down, but those dollars are there continuously to help us account for the class size reduction when possible. Is that correct? Okay.
Absolutely perfect.
Okay.
It wasn't that long.
It wasn't 2 years ago, 3 years? I'm getting old, Ray.
Okay, so my question is, I believe it's relevant to goal number 2 here, and it's regarding the handout, the LCAP app handout that we got. So on page, it's regarding the student focus groups. On page 34, for suggestion number 3, there's the last sentence there. Well, I'll read the whole thing. Students suggested having long fun Fridays, more balance between math and reading assignments, and more opportunities to participate in learning activities where they could win prizes. And most importantly, they also requested more exposure to tools like Me2Be reports, which they had not seen before. So that was, troubling to me being, I brought this up and mentioned this a couple of times before. Personal anecdote, right? Just interacting with teachers myself. Most of the teachers that I've interacted with have not brought up the Me2Be report. I know President Salazar also, on a personal anecdote, has had the same experience with her grandchild. So does that fit here? Because that sounds like it's an equity issue to me. If children that need to be aware of their personal goals and take ownership of their own, progress.
So
I'm
the
not
Me2Be report is already an action. It's already a funded action.
Right. So, but how do we make sure that it's being implemented and that all the kids know they know what it is? Because right here, it's saying that there's one, I mean, granted, it's 3 kids that participated in this, but they didn't know, they hadn't seen it before. And they're in 6th grade.
I think it's a work in progress, right? I mean, our school site administrators carry that message to our teachers, and teachers have the expectation that in the 4 conferences annually that they'll speak to the Me to Be report. So it is an expectation, and we'll continue to work on it. You know, obviously, some of you that were at the PAC meeting heard a little bit of a similar story. We know that we don't have 100% of teachers utilizing the Me to Be report with parents and students, but it is an expectation and we are working towards that.
Um, So I mean, I'm just not, I'm not sure how to phrase this, but I mean, it's been a while, it's been a number of years, right, that this has been in place. And so how long do we give, you know, our
Trustee Cortez, I think what Trustee Cortez probably wants to say is, and I think we feel the same, is where does accountability part come from our teachers that, and from our vice principals and our principals and our area superintendent and so forth, as we go down the line, the accountability, these Me to Be reports should be used, and they're not being used. We've used different scenarios, we've gotten different voices from our communities, from PAC and DLAC, where they're not being used. And at what point do we have the accountability? Because these students are not being, they don't even know what they look like, some of them. And we're more than 2 years into this. And we still, our students, our teachers are not using it, just for conferences, like you just stated, and they're still not using it. I know some teachers are due, which is good, they're doing it, but some teachers just are not. At what point do we have accountability for them to use it?
I'm not sure I'm the right person to answer this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he wants to say.
Yes.
And I think I can speak for our staff that's here this evening that we do need to develop an accountability system to monitor whether that's getting done. And if it's not getting done, have a plan on what to do with it. I think right now, we rely on our site principals to let us know, hey, are your teachers, you know, issuing this and going over these with parents? And I know Assistant Superintendent Rodriguez out there is probably I see the wheels turning in his brain right now on, okay, how do we actually know that this is getting done? And right now I can't honestly tell you that we do.
And we have accountability systems in place. So it's not, I don't want you to think that we don't, like, we could add it to our Madera learning system as another accountability measure. So that is something that we could do, but it wouldn't cost us any more dollars in the LCAP necessarily.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I just think it's a big, we hear this word a lot, but I think this is what comes to mind when I'm reading this LCAP draft. This it speaks, equity to me. So or lack of equity when the students that most need to take ownership of their progress, that need that accountability on behalf of their teacher, and not even familiar with what Me to Be is. So yeah, that's fine that we don't have to spend more money on it, but just concerning that they don't know what it is. And I think that's, I think it also affects their social emotional aspect of the relationship between the teacher and the student, because I think that's the first relationship that a teacher has with the student is a professional one, and then being accountable to those students. And so students can trust that that's in place, and I think that the relationship grows from there, in place of trust.
Well, trying to be fully transparent and putting all the information out here. I know not everything is where we want it to be. So I appreciate that. And I think we understand your concern, and I agree. I've heard you say it more than once. So I know it's something that you value and something that you believe in. And the assistant superintendent and area assistant soups who work directly with the school sites will continue to work on that. And again, developing, did you want to share something?
I think one
It's current.
So this year.
So to align with the board goal that was set last year, we shifted when we gave our district benchmarks, which is the NWEA. And they were given much earlier, and they were given so that teachers would have the results during the parent-teacher conferences. And we did that strategically. And this was the first year that we did that. So we did make changes to our assessment calendar so that it would be better aligned when the Me2B report was going out. So that's true.
And did you mention this so that that can be also aligned with the district goal?
Yeah, because the district goal is built on the growth target for each student utilizing the NWEA, which is our district benchmark. Yes.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, should this be something that moving forward be an expectation from site administration moving forward, the Me2B?
Yeah, it is an expectation that.
But it's not being monitored to see
That's the
that it's
part we're discussing
implemented.
about the accountability, when you
Right.
get to that stage.
Right. So I also, I know we're going over the presentation. I took my notes of questions based on the report. So, and I know this looks a little different. It's my first LCAP I'm reviewing. So should I hold off my questions until after you do this, and then we'll go over the report? Because that's how I can go over pages where I have my questions.
Or we can also, depending on how much time you want to spend in this, again, I'm at the board's discretion, but we can also, because this is a first read, I can do what we've done in the
Let
past
her
and
finish
set.
her presentation as we have meaningful questions, and then you have other questions that aren't in the presentation. You can always address them because this is a first.
Yeah, and what was most important, or what I thought would be most important for you all was to see the dollars that are associated with new or revised actions. So that's what I focused on in the presentation.
And
I apologize
to
if,
share with Horacio and with yourself, the part, how the NWA report along with the kids in Me2B, and I use my own grandson as an example, the third grader. He was the kinder. It didn't, we shut off in COVID. He was struggling with reading. So this teacher, third grade teacher, set him with a goal. And he's a type of student that likes the challenge. And then also his carrot, as you could say, was he wanted to be in our theater project. In order to be in it, you need to learn how to read. So he did the hard work with the parent and the teacher in challenging him. So this last week, he got honor roll for the first time in his life, but it's that accomplishment. So I asked him about it. He goes, it's a lot of work. He goes, but it's worth it because now I can read. So those are things. And so they showed him his report with the parent and everything. And this was the first time he saw it. And when the parent saw it, she had not seen it with the other students, but with this one, yes. And this is the one that really needed that carrot, that goal, and so that those reports do help when the student does see it.
Yeah.
And we explain, of course, in their language for them to understand. But thank you.
okay, so looking at goal 3, Frank, we can go ahead and. There we go. Under goal 3, you'll see that there are 4 new actions. Starting with line 9, and I'm just gonna let you guys know again, I can't explain to you why goal 8 and goal 9 are the exact same, and goal 8 has $0 allocated to it, and goal 9 has 900,000. I'm not exactly sure. My guess is that it was a typo previously, and so there was an action that was written in the plan twice. So the easiest way Arelis and I could come up with was to allocate 0 on 1 and allocate the actual dollars that we're using to support 0 and 7th period as the $900,000. Okay, So it's listed as a new item because, and we offered 0 and 7th period last year, so it just had to be a typo. So that's my explanation for that. So we brought back goal 9 and allocated the dollars there. Goal 10 is to implement and expand summer school opportunities. This is all associated with our expanded learning opportunities program. So that's grant funds. That $4.1 million is ELOP funds. And then line 11 is the professional learning and support for staff working directly with newcomer students, TK through 12. So we have, you guys know, we're working with the ISET collaborative, and obviously we're spending more than $100,000, but we had the educator effectiveness grant, which accounted for some of those dollars. This is the LCFF dollars that we're still putting towards, and this is going to be specific to newcomers. So ISET is supporting all English learners, but with newcomers, we're building a brand new program for our middle school and high school newcomer classes. And this will be, that $100,000 will be to cover what new curriculum and program that we bring into place, because currently we don't have one in middle school and high school.
This ISET program, so that's on top of the other, what is it, 500,000, or did we had?
So ISET is a different initiative.
That's not the one with the 3-year plan?
Yes, yes. And then those of you that attend the PAC meeting know that we had a number of parents in there who desired to have a version of an Advanced Learners Academy brought back. So we added that here under goal 3. That will be something that will be focused at elementary schools. And it is our intent to have all of our K-6 and K-8 schools to have an Advanced Learner Academy that will be running through after-school program.
How are they going to base how they get into the program, advanced learn? It used to be test scores.
There will still be some measures, and academics will be looked at. We have not set that yet. Again, once this is all approved and the funds are there, then we'll bring together a committee to talk about it and start looking at what the points will be for entrance or invitation into the Advanced Learners Academy. This is difficult. You know, the parents in PAC wanted GATE, but as you all know, what happens if you're running a GATE program, it gets very exclusive, and that's not something that Superintendent Lyle feels really good about, and neither did Executive Cabinet. So we would like to look at something that is not as strict as GATE, but would provide advanced learner opportunities. And Coordinator Laura Toney was the one who oversaw this program pre-COVID when we initiated it. And there were some academic guidelines. It's just if this is approved, then we will reconvene that committee and we'll bring teachers and elementary staff in and look at that, and we'll come up with guidance on who would be invited to attend.
Thank you.
Huh?
I never did like the GATE program for many reasons. You mentioned some of them. But if a kid's in a class and they're advanced, let that teacher give that student extra, work and stuff. But a GATE, something like a GATE program, I'm not, fond of it all.
Yeah.
But you always heard about mastery. Well, if a kid masters the stuff, let them go to the next level. Don't hold them back in that class if they're too far advanced for that class. You had advanced classes set up, or I don't know.
We would be more looking at further enrichment, like deepening the learning of the grade level standards in the class. Yeah.
So that should be open to any kid that's.
Yes,
that,
yeah, absolutely.
Qualifies.
Yes,
That's, that is advanced and they're ready for it,
yes.
but not a special group. Like you're saying. Yeah, that was, well, that was kind of like, oh, my kid's in gate.
Yes.
They didn't really do anything, a lot of those gate classes. I mean, there's some that did. Some were run well, but most of them weren't. They were just, they want to be known as being in the gate program.
Well, the board has the final say. If this isn't something that they agree upon, we don't have to allocate the funds for an advanced learner academy, but this would be a program outside of the school day. There would be academic standards set, and there would be a advanced learner teacher who would get support from Laura Tony, who's the coordinator in college and career readiness. And there would be additional opportunities and enrichment opportunities and activities that would be part of that program.
It could be part of your after-school program.
We would run it through after-school program.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was my question. If it was going to be ran through the after-school program, and
Yes.
if we're going to be doing this advanced academic, this 100,000 is for high quality education. It seems like a little bit.
What this would be is to purchase the supplies and the kits. We based it off what we had allocated when we ran the program before, and we increased it a little bit because, so previously we were running Lego robotics through advanced learners. Well, now, because we have the STEM elective for all students and Lego robotics is part of that, we're going to have to develop additional activities and enrichment opportunities for students in this, because we're already running elective courses in our elementary school. So this will be over and above that. I can tell you that I think when it was originally allocated, it was about $40,000. So we increased it. And Coordinator Tony has ideas, but again, we intend to get it going up and running in the fall.
I did have one of my kids was in the GATE program, but when they got to high school, like they weren't motivated to continue that acceleration of study.
It's interesting you bring that up. One of our current directors talked about his experience in GATE when he got in high school, and he said they just gave him more homework, and suddenly he was like, I don't want to do more work. That's not what this is about. So he kind of had that same feel that, like, if it's just more work, I don't want to do just more work. That felt like a punishment suddenly.
Encouragement, like other reinforcements from other sites. Thank you.
But this, just to be clear, would be focused on elementary right now. That's where we would be focusing that. Okay. Under goal-
Question, sorry, I have a question for
Yes.
you. Looking at the draft LCAP on page 44, under goal 3, it says here, the district will initiate the course development process of a financial literacy course of study for grades K through 12. I didn't see it listed here.
That
but it
is
says-
true.
But it says here that there will be the planning period will be in 23, 24. So is that why it's not here on the?
No, that's a error on our part. Financial literacy came out of PAC as well. And there's actually one action that I'm going to bring up that's not listed in the draft, but it's listed on here. I found that one when Arelis and Mr. Bonilla and I were going through it, but that one I missed on here. So as long as it's in here, we're good. This is where it needs to be added. Eventually, this is what you're approving is the actual LCAP. So as long as the financial literacy piece is written into the tables, which is what you're looking at, I'm assuming. You said what page? Yeah.
Let's see that the Advanced Learners Academy was listed under goal 2, but you have in 3. So I'm assuming you guys moved it around. So.
Say that one more time.
So if you look at the same page under goal 2, Advanced Learners Academy, is listed under goal 2, but you have it here under goal 3.
So Advanced Learners Academy should be under goal 3. So we have to add financial literacy is in the LCAP draft.
Right.
Yep.
It is here, but I didn't see it here.
But it's
so-
not on here. You're right, it's not on here.
But do you know how much would that be the allocation for that?
For financial literacy, Rose, are you looking for it? It's financial literacy.
It's under goal 3.
It's going to be a new one. So I think what happened, what trustee Dybert is seeing, that two things happened. We knew that in the creating this presentation, we were missing, so financial literacy is not listed on my presentation here, but it's in your tables.
That's okay. I mean, you can provide that later. It's fine. I just wanted to clarify that.
Let me make sure, though. So it should be the financial literacy piece. Adding that program should be under goal 3. So it'll be a new action under goal 3, and I'll make sure that that's added. And Advanced Learners Academy, if it's listed under goal 2, I will move that over to goal 3 as well. Okay.
Is your after-school programs at each school, is it available to all students or you have a limited
Yes.
amount number?
Now, because of the funding that the state provides, every child who wants to be enrolled should be enrolled. Now, we still run into staffing issues, so I'm not going to say that there's not wait lists, but it's not like it used to be where we only had a certain amount of spots and that was it. The state expects us to take every student that wants to be involved. Yeah, and that's why we get that significant amount of money for expanded learning.
Some of the sites are funded by our general fund because they're not part of that
No, not anymore.
anymore. All of them.
Everything is, the expanded learning funds are all encompassing. Yep, so the schools that aren't receiving ACEs in 21st century and after school program funding are supplemented with the expanded learning. So we do not have to use LCFF funds or general funds for that any longer. Yep. Okay. Trustee Dybert, I'm sorry about that.
I was trying to do my homework and read this document.
Okay. Under goal 4, the action that we added here, this was one that came from the PAC recommendations. And this was around additional support staff based on the social, emotional, behavior, academic, and attendance needs by site to create and sustain emotionally and physically safe learning spaces for all students and their families. So you'll see that one is listed up here. That's the one that got left off of the draft. Okay, so that one is in your presentation for tonight, but that was the one, I did catch that one when I was reviewing. I missed financial literacy. I apologize. So there's a significant amount of money allocated there. You all are well aware that over the course of the last few meetings and through core staffing that we allocated significant funds to increase the staffing for support staff, specifically in our autism programs. We are expanding transitional kinder, which means we have additional support staff needed there. We have support staff that is to be in all of our kindergarten classrooms. And then there's a number of schools that are looking at increasing services through the use of intervention specialists as well as student advocates. So that's where the staffing increases is being allocated there. And in the past, a lot of our school sites have used their school site Title I allocations. But we are allocating pretty significant amount of dollars to support that initiative to increase support staff, which was the strongest and the strongest recommendation that came forward from PAC this year, which was around support staff, additional support staff. So that's under goal 4.
I have another question for you. So that was from the PAC. So there
Yes.
was a recommendation from DLAC. The Superintendent's response was and I saw that there's I think it was under Human Resources, the contract with the ISET Pathway Organization. Is that part of this? Because he replied that there are district principals, vice principals, number of district office leaders have been receiving training from professional partners from ISET. So
I would have to ask Arelis where that comes. That's what I was sharing. The ISET, we're using the Educator Effectiveness Block Grant. So I don't know exactly under which source or under which Arelis, because it's a grant. Yeah.
Is it under goal 4 right now that we're still discussing?
No.
What was your question?
She was asking me about,
yeah, it's under goal 4 on page 45. So that's what it says here. MUSD will be entering into year 2 with our ISET partners to continue the training and support with the implementation of the EL roadmap.
and I apologize, I don't know what page numbers, I don't have the page numbers that you guys have, I don't think.
It's in the book. So what page did you say? What page you say, trustee Dybert? It's not marked on, it's on page 45 that she's talking about.
No, I was looking at the presentation. So that's where I was confused. So you're reading. So it's not, when it's listed here as a goal, this doesn't align. Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying now. Okay, so this would be under looking, no, you're right. There needs to be, so where are, yeah. Yeah, no, that's solution tree.
ISAC is,
I said is our English learner work.
uh-huh.
And we're using educator effectiveness block grant. Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. So the problem is that the goal here doesn't call out the ISET work, and what they're asking for is what, under which goal do you have that? goal 3, action, goal 3, action 3. And then you are also going to have some under the Madera Believes in Me, the English learner plan. Under goal 2, action 15 would have some, right? And then under goal 2, action 6 is talking about supporting emergent multilingual students in obtaining English language proficiency and mastery of core content standards. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So they fall into 3 different goals.
Can't wait till I can write my own. This is a challenge. It's as much of a challenge for me as it is for you. I'm really sorry.
You know what's good? I think what's good too was when we did the NISO classes,
Yeah.
knowing the goals, attending the PAC and the DLAC really helped. And now going through this. But some of these are going to land in 3 different goals. So the early living, the early development, and then 2 is mostly like implementation, and 3 is where we're going to put the different supplies, different other facilities, and 4, how we're going to retain those teachers, that staff. So
Yeah.
Few of the PAC and the DLAC meetings, so I kind of saw the dynamics of how it went.
And what is a challenge is
I really have been working on this intensively, really 2 years, not just a couple of months.
yeah, for sure. And just trying to make sure that all of our dollars are allocated and then the new actions made it in. So I apologize for not having complete clarity on where each and every action and every dollar that's allocated to every action is. So I apologize for that. Okay. Are we on goal 5?
Please.
No new actions in goal 5. So goal 5 remain the same. Now, some of the allocations might be slightly different, but there's no new actions in goal 5. And then in goal 6, there's also no new actions. So I have some notes. I have a couple things to clean up to make sure that what is in the actual tables is represented under the right actions under the correct goals. So I will work definitely on that for you. And then happy to continue to answer questions, or we can meet separately to answer more questions.
I think the answers to this question is going to be similar to Trustee Diver's question. But my question is regarding the under committee meetings, local bargaining units, Madera Unified Teachers Association. They're okay, here it is. Pages 37 and 38. It looks like they made reference to curriculum and needing more training and aligning curriculum and implementing new math curriculum. And so a few times they alluded to curriculum and needing more training. But I think looking at some of the actions and some of the under some of the goals, like I said earlier, it looks like it's being addressed in different actions as well.
And that one I feel a little more confident speaking to. Under goal 3, which is under curriculum and instruction, there's an action in there that basically is one line item that calls out the development of a guaranteed and viable curriculum and talks about the curriculum instruction. Under goal 4 and goal 5, well, under goal 4 is where we would address the training and the professional development piece. So those pieces of feedback are already actions that are written in here, and they're going to fall under 2 separate goals. One's under goal 3, which is under the actual curriculum and the curricular resources. And then under goal 4 is where you'll see the allocation of funds for professional development for training.
So your answer to trustee Divers kind of helped me get my answer here too. So I think that one was easier. Thank you.
Any other questions, trustees?
Yes, I do have questions. I did my homework. I read this document. So I have a couple of clarifications. So I saw that MUDA and CSEA, maybe you can correct me, they were done through a survey, right?
Yes.
Okay, and why did we do surveys instead of meeting in person with certain groups?
So we touched on this briefly when we talked about the engaging partners in our last meeting. So past practice has been with the unions that they had requested a survey. I shared with the board that I wasn't happy with the results of the survey because we just get such a small turnout. One of the things we did this year was gave the surveys in Spanish and English. And we felt like that helped us in the classified arena, but we definitely have to do a little better. And we meet with the union president. So I met with Mr. Holder, Ms. Giddens, and Mr. Christensen, who is our administrative union president. And they like the idea of a survey, I think, because of the ease. What I've shared with you all before and what I shared with them is I would like to think of, not that I want to have more meetings. There were 33 evening meetings that I held this year to get feedback for the LCAP. But there has to be a way to get more people that, especially our teachers, I feel really strongly that our teachers need to be a little more involved in this process. And we've talked about it in executive cabinet, how we can make this not be something that is just a compliance document that we bring here once a year, we never look at again. We need our administrators, our teachers to be more invested in this, know what's in there. And I know the feedback is not where we want it to be. And I've asked the union presidents to help us think that through. But the survey is what has always been done. And we stuck with that this year, but I don't believe the survey was as effective as I would want it to be to get feedback when you consider you've got 1,000 MUDA members, you know, and more than that in classified, and it's such a small percentage that we
Right,
hear
that's
back
why
from.
I was asking because only CSEA, only 78 people responded and from MUDA 110. And actually the responses to curriculum and training, that's very good. I mean,
Mhm.
that's very focused, but I think if that is done, and I know more meetings, I can only imagine. I went to graduation almost every night. I was like, worn out, but I'm thinking the same model that you did with I think you did a great job with DLAC, with the PAC, where they they invested their money. I'm wondering if something like that will probably incentivize them a little bit. Maybe not you, maybe other staff members can help just to get there. Because sometimes when you sit together, you bounce questions from each other and you get other questions, other ideas of how you can improve. Because they work directly with our kids.
Yep.
Same thing with, classified nutrition and all that kind of thing. Because I saw that one of the teachers said that improve the school nutrition, enhance the quality of cafeteria food to provide delicious and nutritious meals that motivate students to attend school, teach students proper table manners and etiquette to promote a positive dining experience. And I also read somewhere that some school district, they tackle social, emotional through their lunches, giving them a little more time to eat and sit down and socialize with each other rather than having a session where they have to go with somebody to talk to them about, how they're doing. Just socializing, it helps students too. The other question that I have is the way you did And I saw that you did the same thing for students, or you met with students, right? The students, okay. So the newcomers, I see the feedback, the leadership, GSA groups and BSU provided, but maybe I'm missing somewhere. Maybe I didn't read it completely. It's a lot. I didn't see the newcomers or EL students feedback here listed.
So
Maybe it's in a different section.
no, it would be, tell me what page you're
I'm
on.
on page 36. So I saw that the student
And-
board members.
And I know we have feedback from those groups because I shared it at the last meeting. It might just be an oversight in here. There's, the newcomers was only at one of the schools, one of the high schools, because we only have the newcomer program at one high school, but it should still be in here. And I shared that as part of my presentation. So that's just as simple as me going back into one of my files and just adding in the newcomer feedback, because we do have that.
Yeah, they're the EL students. What is it, 97% that we have EL student? What's our percentage of EL students? in-
30%.
Or 30%. So
Yeah.
that should be a good representation of what, it
Yes.
should be included here, I think, so they feel that their voices have been heard.
Yeah, and we have that. It was just left out of the draft, so it needs to be added in there.
Can we move on? Because it's getting late. Trustee Diaper, if you have any more questions, you could address them to Ms. Sisson.
I don't have any more questions. I think those are my highlights. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustees, no more questions, so we can move on. Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Sisson. Now moving on to new business educational services, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, the second reading for, see, I missed my page here. We're in old business, we're in new business now, yeah. First reading of the 23-24 preliminary budget.
So we'll bring Arelis Garcia, CFO, back up to the podium.
Good evening again, President Salazar, Clerk Mendoza, trustees, and Deputy Superintendent Schwartz. Thank you. And so tonight we're gonna review the estimated actuals for 22-23 and the preliminary budget for 23-24. And you all receive our printed budget and also a copy of my presentation tonight. So we're gonna looking at the May revision, what the governor is proposing, the enrollment and attendance, the revenue and expenditures in our ending balance, the COVID funds update, the checkbook balance or cash flow projection, multi-year projection, the interfund transfer, the multi-year ending and reserve and other funds, and our section 115 OPEB trust. So the May revision on May 12, Governor Newsom released the May revision. Most of his proposals from January were maintained. One of the things that changed was the LCFF. The percentage he proposed at 8.13% in January. It was changed to 8.2% COLA. And so that brings us a little bit more revenue. Reduction to be able to fund that 8.22%. He is also proposing a reduction on the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. That grant or allocation was 38 million. So we don't know exactly how much is gonna be reduced. So luckily we have not budgeted the whole thing. We only budgeted 19 million. That is what we already received. So if they are taking money back, it's not money that we have budgeted yet. The other reduction is in the arts, music, and instructional materials grant. And so if those, that one too, we received 5 million. We were expecting 11 million at the beginning. So now it may be like 7 million. So we have not received the rest yet. The Proposition 28 approved in November. That requires a state annual allocation of 1% for TK to 12 portion of the Proposition 98. The level of funding is not yet known, and some of the propositions key provisions lack clarity. including the restriction of supplanting. So one of the restrictions on this money is that we cannot supplant. That means that whatever we're doing right now, we cannot shift it now to be funded with Proposition 28. So for example, the specials that we are doing at the elementary schools, the teachers that we added for the STEM, the music, that we already funding with, we started with COVID funds, and now we're gonna, if we don't have COVID funds, now we're gonna use LCFF. The state is saying you cannot use Proposition 28 because you already have those positions. That is what means supplanting. And so I know that we have people in Sacramento that are arguing that they cannot punish schools that are already being proactive, providing those services, saying that we cannot use the Proposition 28 funds to pay for those teachers that we already started like last year, doing what the state wants us to do it now. Yesterday, the legislative announced an agreement that was reached on the 2023 state budget. So on Thursday, they will take a vote, assuming that they will vote, they agree. In the various committees will hold hearings to discuss the final budget. The governor will have 12 days to act on the budget bill, so adopt it and be ready to go for July 1st. Another thing that stay on the May revision is the LCFF equity multiplier. It was maintaining the funds, and it will be ongoing funds added to the LCFF. It's estimated to be $740,000 per eligible student. So those funds will come with revisions to the LCAP. So I know that as Associate Superintendent Cheryl Sissel, she just reviewed the LCAP with you. But if we get this equity multiplier added to the LCFF, it will come with some requirements to put it in the LCAP. So we may have to revise the LCAP, or sometimes what we can do, we can add it in the annual update. So the state will let us know how we'll need to proceed to make sure we meet that requirement. Other available grants that are proposed in the state budget is Stronger Connection programs that provides grants to high school needs schools to support school climate and safety, bilingual teacher professional development programs providing competitive grants for districts to increase the number of teachers with bilingual authorization, and another competitive grant to implement restorative justice's best practices. So we'll keep an eye on these grants, and if the need is there for our district and we can apply, we'll apply for these grants. So the LAO warns that the May revision is too optimistic. Their initial reaction estimates that there is 2/3 of a chance that the revenues projections will happen. So, and that the budget deficit, it's a lot higher than what the state is projecting. So of course, we'll see how the economy goes, and we'll keep an eye on any changes so we can adjust our budget for the 23-24 and out years. So in the enrollment and attendance for 22-23, our enrollment was 20,151 students. Or attendance when it's lower than average. In the pre-pandemic, our average attendance was 95%. This year, our attendance was 92%. So luckily, we still been funded at the prior year higher. So last year, because we had a higher funded ADA, so we're still using that attendance this year. So we're still being funded at 95. But in 23-24, our enrollment is projected at 20,312. The increase is mainly because TK is expanding. So we're expecting more TK students. Our attendance is, we're using this year's attendance percentage. So the 92% is at 80,590. So now, because the state changed how they are gonna calculate the attendance, it's either gonna be current year, prior year if it's higher, or the 3-year average. So we look at the three numbers and we take whichever is higher. So for us, the highest is the 3-year average. So instead of being funded at the 92%, we will be funded at the 93%. That is the 3-year average. So that is our best scenario. Okay, and hopefully our attendance next year is higher than 92%, then we'll be funded at that higher rate. So if that happens, then we'll revise our LCFF to take in consideration the higher attendance. But as of right now, for budgeted purposes, we took the 3-year average. The general fund revenue for 22-23, our revenue is at 456.4 million. It includes the STIRS on behalf, 13.2 million. Or unrestricted is 269 million. That includes the LCFF, and restricted 187 million. The LCFF revenue, 285 million. It includes the 6.56 COLA increase plus the 6.7 base grant increase that the state give us this year only. COVID-19 relief funds and other one-time funds, we have 83.5 million. Now, in the unrestricted and LCFF, remember that LCFF is part of the unrestricted funds, but because we have to do a contribution for our routine repair and maintenance, and we have to do a contribution for special education, we take some money from the LCFF and fund it to fund those two programs that are in the restricted side. That's why you see that difference between unrestricted and LCFF. For 23-24, the estimated revenue is 402.4 million. It includes 11.1 million for STIRS on behalf. The STIRS on behalf amounts come from the state. They calculate how much we have to put in our books. And so those are the numbers that we are using. So they calculate how much the state puts, how much each district is putting, and they do a recalculation every year to give us new numbers. Unrestricted, 285.6 million, restricted 116.8 million. LCFF, 307.3 million. It includes the 8.22 COLA increase. COVID-19 relief funds and other one-time funds, we have 21.4 million. 23-24 is the last year that we're going to have COVID funds. So the general fund revenue graphs are there with percentages. It's the same information that I just reviewed with you earlier. As you can see, LCFF with, in the part of the LCFF is base and supplemental concentration makes the biggest chunk of the revenue for our district. So the local control funding formula. So for 22-23, we're receiving 285.1 million. The base grant, what everybody receives, right? It's 198.5 million. Supplemental and concentration, 82.6. Supplemental and concentration is generated by our unduplicated students, and they are the low-income English learners and foster youth. We also have some add-ons in our LCFF is targeted instruction, transportation, and transitional kindergarten. So we have 4 million for that. In 23-24, LCFF revenue is 307 million, and that includes that COLA increase, the 8.22%. The base grant is 212 million. Supplemental and concentration is 88 million. And the add-on 7.4. The increase on the add-on will be for the equity multiplier, or estimate is that we're gonna receive about 3 million in for that new add-on that is gonna come in if the budget is approved at the state level. The general fund expenditures for 22-23, we are at 469.4 million. It includes, again, the STIRS on behalf. 298 million is in salaries and benefits. Special education, 31.8 million. Routine repair maintenance account is 110.4 million. And that is, the state requires a 3% of a general fund to be spent in routine repair and maintenance account. transportation, 8 million, and utilities, 8.5 million. For 23-24, 359 million. It includes the stores on behalf in this side too, 11.1. And salaries and benefits, 298.2 million. You see that between this current year and next year is not a lot of difference in salaries, right? Because in 22-23, it includes the student champion investment that we pay in December. Remember the $5,000 that we pay for each employee? So that was like 13 million. So that is included in 22-23. We remove it from 23-24, but then we added the 4% increase that we agree with our unions that for 23-24. So it was kind of a wash there. Special education, 34.5 million. It includes all the new positions that we approve in core staffing. You know, we added some new teachers and also some assistants for the speech and language pathologist program that we have. Routine repair and maintenance, 11.5 million. Again, we have to meet that 3%. Transportation, 8.4 million, and utilities, 8.6. So utilities, depending on how or weather is, you know, how hot, how cold, we review it for 3 times a year, and we move the budget around. If we need more in the electricity or we need more in water, we move it around. And if we need to increase it because we are spending more than what we anticipated, we add more budget at every time that we review the budget. Okay. Yes, and remember in 22-23, we have one-time funds. We have more COVID funds that we have in 23-24. And we also have carryover that we don't. Oh, no. I'm only highlighting the programs that are the biggest dollars. Yes. Okay. So here we have our graphs. As you see, our biggest part of the expenditures are our salaries and benefits. And so in 22-23 looks that we're spending more in books and supplies than in the current year, but in next year, but current year has carryover funds in there, or we have funds that we have received that we always put the budget in the supplies, and from there we move it around in different categories as needed. So it's always our holding place. In this slide, I'm showing all the positions that the board approved in core staffing and some other ones that were added after. We are adding 106 new positions in 23-24. When we presented this, the core staffing to you, we also have some positions that we closed at that time. So I know the number looks very large, 106, but we also closed like 80 positions at that time too. I know some positions were like 3.5 hours per professionals that we're not able to find. We increased those to 6 hours to be more appealing and to find employees to come to work for us. So the estimated ending balance and reserve for 22-23, we're estimating to end with 94 million in our ending balance. And we have the non-spendable, and I'm listing there, or inventory and petty cash, or vacation accruals, and or committed funds. And so after I'm removing that from our ending balance, then our adjusted ending balance is 47 million. And then using our expenditure budget, we do a division between the two, and then we get the reserve percentage, and 10%. I want to remind the board that we have that requirement from the state that our reserve cannot be more than 10%. It's the cap. So for 23-24, we're estimating the ending balance at 87.8 million. And again, we have the non-spendable assigned and committed funds there too. Using the adjusted ending balance is 40.7 million, in expenditure budget for 108.8 million. And so the division of those two give us that 10%. An update on the COVID relief funds and other one-time funds. We have been awarded 205 million since 2020 when the pandemic started. And so we used 33.4 million in 2021. We used almost 46 million in 21-22, and we have in the budget 22-23 83.5 million. From that 83.5 million, we have encumbered 6.5 million. We have spent, actually paid out 4.5 million. And we have still 36.5 million in the budget that it's not allocated or not encumbered. So if those 36 millions are not spent, they carry over to the next year. So then for 23-24, we do have in the budget 21.4 million. And that is from the last part of the ESSER 3 funds. So if that 21 million, if the 36 million from 22-23 that we have in available budget is not spent, it will go to 23-24. So then we'll have, like 57 million when I bring the carryover. So we still have 1.5 million from the arts, music, and instructional materials grant, and also the 19 million from the learning recovery grant that are not in the budget. And remember in my first slide about the May revision, I said that the governor is proposing to reduce those two grants. So that's why I'm not budgeting. I'm waiting to see what the governor is gonna do. If the state, they approve to reduce those grants, we don't have it in the budget and they can take it, we're not gonna fill it. Or checkbook balance. So we have in the bank as of April 30 of this year, 202 million. We have the fair value adjustment. Remember that we lost some money because the assets were, they were value lower. So 196.4 million, that's the net cash at county. We have still some accounts payable, 48 million that we still owe to some vendor. And we have health and welfare that is our pass-through account, 6 million. So we pay about 2.5 million every month for our health insurance. For each, that is for our current employees. So in the months of July, June and July, in July that we don't have our teachers, or most of our certificated staff, they don't have earnings, they don't have a salary. So we already have the money in the bank to pay for that month, and for our insurance. Employer taxes, we have 93,000 that we owe, and that is either like unemployment, workers' comp. Retires, health and welfare, we have 645, and that is where we pay for our retirees' health insurance. So we do the same thing as we do with our current employees. Or classified summer savings, that is the program that the state is funding to. This is the portion that our employees are saving. So 826,000 is what we have right now. And that one was as of April. So we still have May and June for them to save, and then the state will match it. So whatever, if they save $5, the state will send another $5 for them to be paid at the end of July. But we have to tax the $5 that comes from the state because nothing's free, right? So yes, but it's a very good program and our employees love it because they can save, up to 10% of their earnings. And so if they save 1,000, they are getting 1,000 from the state minus taxes. And so our deferred payroll, that is our teachers' savings account. So we have 4.8 million there. So that is for the teachers. The teachers don't get the same luxury as the classified employees, so they don't get the match. They only get what they save, but it's tax-free because they already pay taxes on that throughout the year. So, and we pay it to them in July. So they have a check. And our use tax liabilities is for sales tax. So we have to pay the state. So that is a holding account and we pay it every quarter. The cash flow, you can see it here, is up to date, up to April. May and June are projections. So we ended April with 202 million in the bank. But so remember that our property taxes or the taxes that we receive from our community are paid quarterly. So in April is when we receive, the taxes. And now May and June, we don't have taxes coming in, but we do have the money from the state for the LCFF. So we're still gonna end up with a healthy cash in our bank. We're expecting to end with 107 million at the bank. So for the multi-year, we use assumptions. And as the assumptions is some things that we know are going to happen and some things that we are assuming or we're getting information from the state that we take in consideration when we do the projections. So enrollment and attendance, we know that we have to account and provide services to the students that we think we're going to have next year. We also take a percentage of how many days the students are going to come to school, and the attendance is what drives the LCFF. Unduplicated account, the higher the percentage, the more supplemental and concentration funds we receive. So our unduplicated account is between 90.5 and 91%. Cost of living adjustment, COLA. Step and column increases that are going to happen, we know for sure. CalSTRS and CalSPERS rates, health and welfare contributions, inflation rates and consumer price index. We have seen it, and they just construction costs have high they have come in the last few years. Minimum hourly rate is going up in January again. We right now are at $15.50, and in January it's going to be $16. We're going to be opening a new school in maybe a couple of years, and so we have to probably next year start already planning for the new principal and the key staff that is going to be in that school. In future negotiations, we have a good relationship with them. We settled for 23, 24, but next year we'll have to start negotiations for 24, 25. So if everything that they told us and we know is happening, these are my revenue, my projections for the LCFF revenue. So for 24, 25, 23, 24, the COLA 8.22 that I just talked about earlier. So it's bringing us 22 million in new revenue. But we also have about 18 million in new expenditures. This year, we're accounting for step and column, the salary increase, the 4%, and PERS, health and welfare. We also increased the budget for our school sites. And we did a 20% increase for our school sites so they can keep operating at the high level and providing all the supplies and all the things that they need for the school to run properly. We also did a 10% increase on the department budgets. So like human resources, fiscal services, all of them, they got a 10% increase for the same reason, to keep up with inflation. So for 24, 25, the COLA is estimated at 3.94%, that will bring us about 9.2 million in new revenue. But we also have a big increase. And remember, those positions that I've been using COVID funds, we're not gonna have COVID funds anymore. So I have to bring all those positions back to be paid with LCFF dollars. So that's why I have that 12 million in there. So we have a deficit of 8 million, but luckily we have a little bit from the prior years. And I also have in the ending balance, I have 22 million that we are saving to help us to absorb those positions, and not only for 1 year, but for a few years until we get enough revenue to cover them. And so we're not affecting our finances. For 25-26, COLA 3.29%. That will bring us about 9.8 million. And we have, again, the increases, the normal increases. The new school is gonna open that year. So we're expecting that we're gonna have new staff coming in, teachers. We may need to bring new teachers. We need, for sure, the classified staff, the custodial and the office staff. And we're also gonna need startup funds because, of course, we need everything in our new school, from the broom to the computers. So we have to provide all that. So we're, just as an estimate right now, we have $1 million that we're gonna use for as startup funds for that new school. And so we are projecting that we're gonna have enough revenue to cover the new expenditures in that year. Interfund transfer. So we are assuming that if all that revenue is coming in and we are good, so we are maintaining the interfund transfer. So and the interfund transfer is going to the building fund, and we're gonna maintain it for the next 4 years. And it will help us, that I use it to make sure that we meet that 10% reserve cap. So the estimate transfers are there. So this year we're estimating to do the 10 million. In the next 2 years, you see a large amount, but I'm also listing there the construction needs. And these construction needs that you see here, the board already approved them. So we have already the commitment that we're gonna pay for them. So the stadium at Torres, the district-wide solar, we are, I think, in the last phase of that project. The Brenda bus loading zone, and you can see them. And we have other fun future projects. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz with Director Cox, they have a 10-year plan with all the construction needs that we have that we don't have the funds for it. So as you know, we are able to maintain this district interfund transfer. It's in the benefit of the district that we can fund these projects that we have. So if so the current year and future year ending balance and reserve, remember, my goal is always to maintain that 10% reserve. So we still have COVID funds this year and next year, and then no more COVID funds or ending balance. It's gonna start decreasing, but we're still gonna maintain that 10% reserve gap. So always trying to keep the district in the best financial position as possible. Here are the other funds besides general fund. The district has other funds that maintains. So I'll explain a little bit of each of them. The student activity and special revenue is associate student bodies that we have at the different schools. So we have 740,000. And so you're not gonna see revenue and expenditures there until we close the books. So next time when I come to you in September, we're gonna have the year closed for 22-23, and you're gonna see how much money they brought in and how much money they spent at that time. And the adult education, 302,000 is the beginning balance. They bring 1.7 million in new revenue, and that's what they project to spend. So that 302,000 is their petty cash account, and the 300,000, we did a transfer last year from the general fund because they were having trouble with cash flow. You know, even though they operate within their budget, the money doesn't come fast enough to cover, you know, month-to-month expenditures. So that's why that money is like kind of like in a savings. So they have always cash to pay their bills. The child development is preschool, 3.5 million, and that's what they are spending. They always operate within its revenue. Child nutrition, they bring 18.3 million, and that's the same thing that they budget to spend. Fund 21 is where we put the money when we do any bond sales. So this year, this one will be 23-24. We're not expecting to make any sales, but we still have 50 million that we have pending. And so we'll bring it to the board when we're ready to do that, that process. And so right now we still have in the bank 31 million, and that is for the last time that we did this, the GOB sold, and it's for Hussein School. So we'll use that money for that school. And the 350,000 that you see there is just the interest, the interest that it generates while sitting at the bank. Developer fees, 2.6 million, and it's where you know, every construction they have to come and pay the district. And so we're expecting a $2 million in revenue and some money in interest a little bit. The 60,000 that you see transfer out, the district charged developer fees at 3% for managing that, all those transactions. You know, every time the developer comes and pay, we have to fill it out our receipt. So, and we are allowed to charge them at 3%. So that's what you see there. The developer fees we're using that for the portable that we're doing at Dixieland. And the redevelopment agency, those funds come in, and it's from the old redevelopment. That agency doesn't exist anymore, but they still have bonds that are still active. And so it's still generating revenue for the districts. And so we're still receiving that money. You see that we have a transfer out that goes to Fund 56, and is to pay the old COPs. So we have an old COP from Madera South that we're still paying. And so we use those funds, so that's why you see that transfer out. Fund 35 is the county schools facilities, and is where the state match money comes in. And so we're not expecting any state match in the new fiscal year, but because we have 31 million, we're expecting 500,000 in interest. So that's what you see in the revenue. That money is gonna be used to, we're building from there the Torres High School, the stadium, we're using that. And any other projects that we can use the money, probably some of the money is gonna go for the Hussein School too. Fund 40, it's our special reserve capital, and we're bringing $1 million in there, and that comes from the general fund. Every year we do $1 million, and we put it in that fund, and we pay for any type of repairs that we cannot pay with the routine repair and maintenance account. So we use that fund for that. Then we have the special reserve building, and that's where the big money comes in. We have right now 47 million in there. The 400,000 that you see there is for interest, for that money sitting at the bank. And we have, we're expecting, you know, that 22 million interfund transfer. So that will give us the 70 million balance. You see that big 70 million, Deputy Superintendent Schwartz and Director Cox will spend it in like a blink of an eye with all the projects that we have. And yes, but after approval from the board. And so Fund 51 is, or where that fund is maintained at the treasurer's office. They pay the bonds that we receive. And so they collect the money from the citizens of the Madera County, and then they pay the principal for those bonds. So that's what you see there. And the debt service is where we pay our COP. So we have 734,000 there. We expect some little bit money for interest. The expense you see is 6.1 million, and that's what the transfer in comes in. So most of the money comes from the general fund and from the redevelopment fund is where the transfer in comes to pay those two COPs. We have the old COP from Madera South and the 2018 COP that we took for Torres High School, 70 million we still owe. Okay, almost done. Okay, our section 115, the OPEB trust, we opened this trust in 2018. Our balance as of April 30th was 9.8 million. The district has contributed 9 million to this fund, and the earnings has been 857,000. The market is, up and down. So you will see in the next slide the details how this year been, but 1 month we gain and then the next month we lose everything. We have to pay fees monthly for handling this account. We still have the contribution from the general fund annually. We do 500,000 to that account, and we're saving we're making this account to pay for health insurance for the retirees in the future. The goal on this account is to have enough money to generate enough earnings to pay for the health and welfare of the retirees. We pay about 2 million a year for them, for their, but we'll need to earn about 2 million. And right now it's not there yet. So next slide. So as you can see, for since July, we have only earned 500,000, 526,000. So, and since 2018, it's been 157,000. So we're not close to that 2 million that we need for the retirees' health and welfare. Any question?
Trustees, do you have any questions? Trustee Dybert?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Trustee Ahmad, do you have any questions for CFO Garcia?
Not at this time.
Trustee Cortez?
No questions. Thank you.
Trustee Dybert? Excuse me, Trustee Fleek?
No questions. Thank you.
Trustee Seibert?
No questions. He's too thorough.
Clerk Mendoza?
No questions. Good deal.
Myself, I have no questions. I just have a concern of our state budget, and I have a feeling our COLA is going to be less than the 8.2. But thank you very much for your presentation. Deputy Superintendent Schwartz, do you have any announcements for the board?
I have two quick announcements. The Madera South Black Student Union is hosting a Juneteenth celebration in their cafeteria from 4 to 6 p.m. On Monday, June 19th. So this coming Monday. Juneteenth is a holiday for Madera Unified, so offices will be closed and there will be no summer school on that day. And speaking of summer school begins tomorrow, June 14th, and will run through July 6th. And that's the traditional summer school. Our extended learning opportunity programs will be running later in the year as well.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent Schwartz. Miscellaneous board member committee information reports. So we're 10 o'clock. We'll start with you, Trustee Dybert. Please keep them brief. Only if you have something to share with us from your committees. We'll start with you, Trustee Dybert.
Thank you. Yes, I won't list all the different events that we attended in the last 2 weeks, but I do want to congratulate every graduate, every student from 7th and 8th grade that moved on promotion. And thank also our maintenance and office staff who helped setting up at the Memorial Stadium and at all the promotion ceremonies. They did a marvelous job. I really appreciate their work. I wanna mention that I attended today's classified conference. I learned a lot more about Tier 3 intervention for children with adverse childhood experiences. Dr. Kathy Wanderer's presentation was easy to understand how trauma in young children affects their development and performance at school, and how school personnel play an important role in helping these students heal the wounds trauma can cause in a child. I also learned a little bit more about the support Rosa Galindo that provides to our foster youth and families in transition. They did a great job. There was a lot of classified staff. The administrators helped with the registration, so I appreciate all of that, and I got my shirt too, so thank you.
Okay, thank you, trustee Dybert. Trustee Ahmad?
I will start with a few, I did attended Madeira Unified Annual Service with Pride Award. And also, I also attended Madeira Historical Literacy project. I will be brief. I will not go into detail. And then also in May 31st, I attended Madeira Athletic Advisory Committee meeting. And also I did attend all the graduation and also some of the promotion, 8th grade promotion as well. And also I attended a district safety committee meeting. And also I attended in Washington School, We Believe Championship Award for young kids. It was very impressive to see all the young kids getting these awards. And at the end, I would like to congratulate all the students who graduated, and also I like to acknowledge that with this hard work for all of our school board, as our superintendent, assistant superintendent, area superintendent, every single one of them did with the hard work doing this job. And I believe that we did have a good year to start with any of the championship we have achieved at this previous year. So I would really like to congratulate all the unified students, all the employees, and I would like to thank every one of them their hard work.
Trustee Cortez?
Nothing to report other than I just like to congratulate the graduating class. And I also would like to thank all the staff that was involved in putting these events together. As far as I know, they were carried out without incident. So that's pretty much it for me.
Trustee Fleek?
It only takes me 5 minutes to get home, and due to the time, I will pass.
Trustee Dybert?
And
Clerk Mendoza?
Yeah, just a couple. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to all the graduates. I attended all the high school graduates, graduations, and they were really actually very nice. It went off pretty good. I also went to the Valdez Educational Dinner Banquet and Amman, also scholarship dinner. So that was it.
Okay, thank you, Clerk Mendoza. I myself attended the Service and Pride, and congratulations to the retirees and the staff that was recognized, and attended on the 531, the Capitol admin workshop at McSauce regarding the budget and all those details they shared with us, which was very informational. Again, it was well as the rest of the trustees attended the various graduations. Congratulations to everybody, and thank you to all the staff. And also attended the Netherton's relays. I attended those as well on June the 2nd. But that's about it. Thank you very much. Let's move on to, thank you, trustees. So advanced planning. Ms. Elizondo,
The next regular school board meeting will be June 27th here at the district office, 1902 Howard Road.
thank you. And I think we're working on a workshop which we include to review our budget with facilities. And it's, we're going to target somewhere in July, maybe, I think it's 17th, 18th or 19th. So they'll be reaching out to you for that next workshop for us. Trustees, do you have any other items to suggest for future planning? Trustee Fleet, you pick a letter.
Oh, yeah. I would like to see us look into having our high school students learn their school's alma mater. We now have 3 high schools. And I think each graduate knowing their alma mater keeps that strong tie to their school and the community. And at Madera High's graduation, band director Capilouti played our alma mater. And unfortunately for the people around me, I sang our alma mater. But it does, it makes
Gives
you
you that
feel
pride.
good. Yeah, you feel proud and you feel connected, even though I graduated a long time ago, you still, feel that. And I was really shocked that our kids now don't know that. They don't know our alma mater.
Thank you for sharing. So now we adjourn. That's it. It is 10:05 and I adjourn this meeting. Thank you for attending and the board meeting. Good night, everybody, and be safe.